morning, guys. Al here, the dentist on wheels. Today I had planned to ride to Dougal, but it seems like the weather is not in our favor, so I've shifted our course towards Karangasem. I'm not sure yet where. Maybe to the flower fields or somewhere around the Besaki area. So for today's ride, I want to talk about motorcycle protective gear. And for those who are maybe still beginning their motorcycle journey and so looking for protective gear, this hopefully can help you decide on what you want to get. So when I look for safety gears, the first thing that's most important is to protect myself from injuries that can cause fatalities. So yeah, headgear is always number one, helmet, and it's also legally here, at least you need a helmet. So when I'm looking for a helmet, what I like to consider are three things: safety, comfort, then style, and in that order. So for helmet safety, what I look at is usually their certification. The most commonly one that are known are first is DOT, SNEL, ECE, FIM, or SHARP. Now, for those who maybe don't know yet, like what are the difference? First, you have to understand how they do the testing. When they do these testing, they use what is called a head injury criterion. Basically, helmets are tested on their abilities to disperse forces that are given to them and see how much force is transmitted towards the head itself. Now, the problem with this criterion is, as we all know, like fatalities or death from brain injuries does not always involve like skull fractures or direct trauma. You can get like intracranial bleeding or hematomas from the forces of the brain being knocked around inside the skull. And that's not necessarily from a trauma, but it can be also from rotational forces, because it's a bit different for riders. When we fall, we don't really go smack and stop, we tumble around. So even like your head might not get knocked that bad, but all that tumbling around can actually cause brain injuries. So that's when the brain injury criterion was devised to complement the existing head injury criterion. So when we're talking about DOT or SNEL, they only use the head injury criterion for the testing. And whereas the ECEs, they have incorporated the brain injury criterion, so they do look at the shape of the helmet itself. And if you're asking like, what is FIM? FIM is certification for racing motorcycles. And the SHARP is a UK rating where it's actually not just like the certification, whether it's passed or not certified, actually gives like a 1 to 5 star rating, so you can actually see how safe the helmets are. But basically all you need to know is for the FIM or the SHARP certification, they only test ECE certified helmets. So for me, those three are fine. Once you've decided on a safe helmet, the next thing is comfort. So when I'm talking about comfort, it's not just like the size, like whether you're a medium, a large, or a small. But actually, certain brands or even certain models cater to different head shapes. Some brands cater to round head shape, some for like oval head shape, and things like that. So you have to make sure that the fit is right for your head, you know. Make sure there's no pressure points at all. When I buy a helmet, I really usually just try it and actually try it for some time. Have a seat, wait for a good 5 minutes or so, and see whether there are any pressure points. Because especially for me who love long rides, those pressure points becomes headaches, and that's definitely going to ruin your riding experience, let alone your concentration. And when we're talking about safety, if your concentration is not all there, then you can actually compromise yourself. Then finally, after the safety and comfort, then I will go for the style. So the helmet that I'm using is an RI Rapido Neo. I chose this helmet, first of all, it fulfills the two first criteria. So for safety, it is ECE certified, and for comfort, the RI model, especially this model, is suiting for a person with a medium oval head shape, which I am, and actually it has customizable padding, which you can interchange. Say if you're not true medium, so you get a medium and it's still a bit loose, you can get padding that's more firmer, or the other way around, the padding is actually layered, so you can kind of peel away the layer if it's too snug, something like that. And I love the look where it's got this round head shape with minimal vents. What I like is you get the retro look, but with somewhat up-to-date technology for the safety. So it's very fitting, in my opinion, to my bike, which is a Neo Kappa Racer, which almost have the same concept, more like a retro-looking bike, but with the up-to-date technology for the machine. So those are what I consider when I'm getting like a lid or a helmet. So the next thing that I consider is what are the most common injuries that we get. I work in hospital, so I do know that the most common ones are actually injuries to our extremities, meaning our hands, our legs, and such. So for that reason, the next item I look for is actually riding boots. So when I look for a riding boot, I want that the boot to actually cover my shin and actually stiff around the ankle. I'm actually using a pretty cheap riding boot. It's a local brand. What's the name? I think it's RVR something. I don't know what the design, but it's okay because it's only $40, but it covers the shin area. And what I like at that is, especially like today, you have a chance of rain, and we're going to wear our rain jackets and rain pants. With boots that's a bit high, you can actually tuck it under your rain pants, and you don't get water in them. Because from my experience, if you're using the boot that's not so high, you have a gap between the rain pants and your boots, fine gap. And not only just the rain go in there, but just by like passing by a car that splash up a puddle, it can just go straight in there, and you end up with a pool of water inside your boots. You may ask, like, why do I emphasize more on boots than the other gear? It's because actually most of motorcycle fall, for big bikes at least, happen at slower speeds. So it might be doing a U-turn, might be doing a slow tight turn, and then you panic brake. So that's why riding boots are important. The ones that I use are TPR sole. So yeah, you have a good grip on the road, preventing those stupid slips. And for $40, you get steel cap toes. You get EVA padding in strategic areas. Can't really complain or ask for more. after boots, the next item is gloves. So for the gloves, I try to look for protection. Usually they give protection in the knuckle area and in the palm area. For the glove that I'm using, it's actually a Taichi RST 447, I think, and it's a rubber knuckle glove. For the plastic or hard protectors, I just feel that it digs into my hand and it's really uncomfortable. So I do prefer this rubber knuckle. Maybe not as impact absorbent, but at least there's something there. And for the palm area here, they put an overlay of like EVA foam, because that's usually when we fall. Sometimes instinctively we try to catch ourselves. That's the area where it hits. And not only does the EVA foam absorb that impact, but it actually let me kind of slip away instead of dig in and twist the hand, which can lead to like radial fractures or something like that. And also in some gloves, you can find like plastic sliders up there. So that also helps like actually sliding when you fall. But same reason why I don't like the hard knuckle protector. It just doesn't feel comfortable at all for me. And this glove, what I like is really not rigid, not stiff. So it's much more easier on my hand, when I shift here or do the braking. It doesn't really give me too much resistance. And in the longer rides, that's very good for me. But there are, like I said, depends on how you ride, how you like it. This is using a Clarino material for abrasive resistance, but say like you're a track rider, your needs would be very different. Okay, so all this thing I'm talking about is a bit biased to like how I ride. So you have to really adjust to your riding environment or even your riding styles. Say you're a track rider, you need something much more abrasive resistance, because when you're falling at high speeds, more abrasion going on there. The other reason is this is very breathable. Like in between the fingers, it's actually spandex. And because I'm here in Bali, the weather usually is very hot. So I need something that's breathable like these. But I do have one for rain. It's more waterproof, but yeah, it is hot. So if you're asking like what are the three main essentials, those are my three essentials. So like I said, I do wear other protective gears. But for riding pants or even riding jackets, for me it's more like almost like buying regular attire. I don't wear full body armor suits and such. It's just not too comfortable for me and for my riding styles. So for the jean, usually I just look for the knee protector and hip protector. Whereas like for the jacket, it's the one with elbow, shoulders, and back protectors. I'm not really too particular on the brand in a sense. It's just as long as they fit nicely and the protection slots are where they're supposed to be, not too high, not too low. It's fine by me. Because what I tend to do is actually I switch the paddings to an aftermarket like CE2 level protection. Because usually for the I buy like local brands, like for the jeans, they just give like a CE level 1 protector, and you just buy yourself like a CE level 2 and just change that. And when I get jackets or pants, it's really more about style in a sense that it's something that I would actually wear off the bike, because when I ride, I do ride and then meet people, maybe like in a restaurant or something, and I just want like the outfit to still fit, not really stand out, like not very biker looking in a sense. So yeah, like riding pants is jeans. About CE ratings. Well, if you want to get into like the details, it's basically like for they test like the paddings, how they disperse the force, So say like the back protectors, how they test it is they apply, I think it's 50 joules of force, and then they see how much force is transmitted through in kilonewtons. So I think for CE level 1, it needs to transmit less than 18 kilonewtons of force, whereas CE level 2 is less than 8 kilonewtons of force. So this means it can absorb more force. And for the arms and leg paddings, I think like CE level 1 is 35 and CE level 2 is 20, less than 20 I mean. But yeah, you get the idea. It's like level 2 is better than level 1 at absorbing forces. So when you're thinking about buying gear, like any respectively gear, just make sure you adjust to like how you ride or where you ride, in a sense like what climate are usually there. Like where I am now, it's raining, light rain, and with this perforated jacket, I'm not somewhat freezing. I do feel the cold a bit, but I can imagine if you're living somewhere with more colder climate, you won't be able to ride with this type of jacket for sure. Hopefully this video could be useful for you if you're looking at getting riding gear. So yeah, thank you for sticking around. I mean, if you want to help me out, you can sub to the channel or like the video, and see you on the next ride. Cheers. Al, signing out.